Good day, everybody. Um, so, um, so, yeah, so a couple of days ago, there was this, teenager in the area, and, she had been, kicked out of her house by her parents, I guess. You know, it was her mom and dad, or just her mom, or just her dad, or whatever it was. Um, so anyways, after she got kicked out of her house, she uh, committed suicide in a car. And and I was thinking to myself, this morning, like what she was probably thinking, when she was in the car. Uh, and two major things, I think, were the big factors. And the reason why she killed herself at such a young age. Because she was, everybody that knew this girl said she was like very happy. And she did a lot of things that she liked. Like surfing and horseback riding, that kind of thing. And she wasn't poor financially. She came from money. You know. But everybody that knew her said she was like, very happy. And my sister said she was very pretty because my sister worked in the same high school that she went to school at. She was well liked. But I think what it came down to is the biggest one, the first one, is the fact that she didn't feel loved anymore. And I think that, you could have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or friends, and they could love you. And that's one form of love. That's like but the biggest one, the one that really counts, is the people that are supposed to love you, like your mom, your dad, your family, your siblings. And if you feel like those people don't love you, the really important people, the people that are supposed to love you, when you don't feel love from them, or when you thought they did love you and that love is taken away or ripped away from you, which was probably maybe this case, uh, that could be extremely damaging. And I think the second big one, you know, if if a kid, like we're talking about a teenager here, is kicked out of their house, and they feel like they have no support anymore. They don't really feel loved by the people that are supposed to love them. They have nowhere to go except to a friend's house or a boyfriend or girlfriend's house or something like that. There has to be this thought about how the future is kind of going to be bad. And how there's really going to be like no hope in your future, or your future is not going to be as nice as you thought it was going to be. Because you don't have those people that you thought really loved you supporting you anymore. And it's hard to think like a year or two ahead of time, thinking like, oh, it's going to get better, my parents are probably going to take me back in, my parents are probably going to accept me again. Because when you're going through depression, when you're going through really dark times, everything seems a whole lot darker. It's hard to think that things are going to be brighter or happier in the future. Because when you're really depressed, like suicidally depressed, like everything seems really dark. Really dark. And you don't really think as clearly as you would if you weren't suicidally depressed. So the world seems so much darker, and everything seems so much darker. Going back to the love part, like I once said to my friend that was thinking about staying in this town, but she was also thinking about leaving. And I said to her, love is one of the main reasons why a person stays in a place. Feeling loved is one of the main reasons why a person stays in a place. And not feeling loved is one of the main reasons why a person leaves a place. So if you don't really feel loved at all, it's much easier to leave a place. If you're not feeling loved at all, it's much easier to kill yourself, commit suicide, regardless of what age you are. Because love is incredibly important. I always talk about like developing this love within, because forms always come and go in your life, and life always changes. So you should never really be dependent on forms, whether they're people, places, things that you own, any of these forms, people, places, things. You should never become dependent on any of those things to bring you happiness or to make you feel loved or any of that. But to develop that love within, because those forms, the people, the places, the things, they're going to change. They're going to come and go. And it's always just going to be you in the end. Because you're always going to lose all the things in your life. The people, the places, the things. You're going to lose all of these things. So you have to depend on yourself to bring yourself happiness. And you have to depend on yourself to love yourself. Not love yourself, but to develop that love within. So you don't have to depend on any of those things, those people, places, and things to, bring you that. But even with me, if I'm in an environment and I don't feel love around me, like if I'm living with harmful people that are mean, abusive, negative, and I don't feel love from them, like if I don't get that feeling that they're a caring person or a kind person, I usually don't stay around that person either. I'll leave that environment and I'll go somewhere else that has more of like a loving nature to it, like a kindness nature to it. Because when it all comes down to it, like that's what life is. Life is, being, when you reach the ultimate level of maturity, when you're completely and fully mature as a being loving is at the top. Like if you're a mean person, or if you're an abusive person, or if you're extremely competitive with other people, or if you're extremely negative and mean to others, you haven't reached the ultimate in maturity of a being yet. Even if you're happy and you're mean to others and you're all these other things, even if you're happy, it's still not the ultimate in maturity of a being, because that's a happiness based on separation and not being loving. That's a happiness based on separation. It's not a happiness based on being loving and being kind to others. But the only way to truly be loving is for the complete destruction of the person to take place, to become nothing, to destroy your conditioning since birth, to destroy the person, to destroy your past, to destroy any judgments or thoughts on what other people should be or what you should be. The complete destruction of the person. And once the complete destruction of the person takes place and you become nothing, you become existence. And you're just constantly in the present moment. Then you could be extremely loving towards others, because you're not expecting anything from anyone. You don't think people should be a certain way. You're not expecting anything from yourself, because you're just existence. You're just the present moment. But a 16-year-old kid doesn't know all that. Anyways, I hope everybody's having a great day. And it's Saturday, so I hope you're doing something that you love. It's kind of cold out today. But if you do have teenagers or kids, even if they're going through a rebellious stage or a party stage or whatever reason why these parents felt the need to not have their child live with them anymore, or their expectations weren't being met by their child, whatever it is. Hopefully, instead of getting into a conflicted argument with someone where you just throw them out of a house, hopefully you can just sit down in peace and have unconditional love and just be loving and love that child just for being born and just for existing. And hopefully you can just sit down together and figure out what's going on and how they feel. Anyways, I hope you're having a great day. I'll see you guys later.